The happiness of fish. Chuangzi and Huizi, rambling at ease, were crossing the bridge over the Hao River. Zhuangzi said, "The minnows came out, rambling at ease and carefree. This is the happiness of fish." Huizi said, "You are not a fish. How do you know that the fish are happy?" Zhuangzi said, "You are not me. How do you know that I don't know that the fish are happy?" Huizi said, "I am not you, so I do not really know about you. But really you are not a fish, and this proves that you don't know that the fish are happy." Zhuangzi said, "Let's go back to the start. You said, 'How do you know that the fish are happy?' Asking like this supposes that you know that I know about them. I know about them from this bridge over the Hao." The Book of Chuangzi contains a number of dialogues between Chuang and his friend Huizi, or as he is called here, Huizi, that is, Master Hui. Huizi is a representative of the so-called School of Names, something like an early Chinese predecessor of today's analytic philosophy, concerned with logical argumentation and language analysis. The dispute about the happiness of the fish is the most famous of the interchanges between the two friends. Almost like a short philosophy rap battle, they challenge one another in spontaneous banter. At first sight, their dispute is about the question whether humans can have knowledge about the happiness of fish, but it can also be understood in a broader sense as a story about philosophers, and people in general, being at ease. The happiness of fish, an epistemological debate. Almost all modern interpretations of the story focus in one way or another on the central question of the debate. Is it possible for Chuang to know if the fish in the river are happy? This question implies broader philosophical problems. How can humans have real, reliable knowledge of anything? How can they even have actual knowledge of one another? How is it possible for the intellect to reach beyond the confines of our individual minds and to understand the outside world? Approached in this way, the dialogue appears to pitch two different conceptions of what and how we can know against one another. It seems to be an epistemological debate, introducing two opposed theories of knowledge. Indeed, somewhat similar to the methods of today's analytic philosophy, Huizi counters Chuangzi with a critical analysis of language use, and by the force of logical argumentation. First, Huizi reveals that Chuangzi uses the word know all too casually, claiming knowledge where in fact he only gave free rein to his imagination. As a philosopher, Zhuangzi should express himself more precisely. Second, Huizi successfully defends himself against Chuangzi's attempt to turn his own argument against him. Huizi's logic holds up, while Chuangzi's doesn't. If Huizi cannot know what's going on in the mind of Chuangzi, then, by the very same logic, Chuangzi can likewise not know what's going on in the minds of the fish. Linguistically and logically, Huizi's argumentation is solid. Huizi's approach to knowledge is skeptical. He implies that knowledge of things external to us is unreliable, at least as long as it is founded on mere conjecture, on subjective feelings, or on sensual impressions. Instead, knowledge that is actually valid seems to be grounded in logical analyses. Following Huizi, it seems that while Chuangzi cannot know if fish are happy, Huizi can at least know that Chuangzi cannot know this. And yet Huizi does not have the last word in the dialogue, which is unsurprising, given that it is included in the Book of Chuangzi and not in the Book of Huizi, which does not exist. No writings of Huizi have been preserved. Chuangzi eventually ends the dialogue with a pun. Taken literally, Huitzer's initial question, "How do you know that the fish are happy?" may in fact suggest that Huitzer admitted that Zhuangzi knows about the fish's state of mind. But of course, that's not what Huitzer meant to say. He was using the phrase, "How do you know?" in a colloquial way, questioning rather than accepting Zhuangzi's claim. Zhuangzi's turn to linguistic ambiguity does not really devalue Huitzer's argumentation, but introduces an altogether different philosophical approach. Zhuangzi states that he knows that the fish are happy simply by looking at them. This suggests some sort of knowledge by empathy, or an epistemology grounded in intuition. Since the dialogue ends here abruptly, however, no such theory of knowledge is outlined any further. Editor Guoshang explained in his 3rd century commentary that Zhuangzi was able to know what those born in the water are happy with from what those born on land take comfort in. Guo indicates a capacity of shared feelings between living beings, even if there's a difference of species. This is similar to the common assumption that humans can experience an emotional bond with their pets. Zhuangzi's intuitive epistemology seems akin to that of a cat owner who claims with confidence that she knows when her cat is happy. Zhuangzi's intuitive approach to knowledge may be regarded as superior to Huitzer's narrow insistence on logical coherence. If knowledge is limited to logically foolproof propositions, then humans may rob themselves of experiencing the world fully and of empathizing with and relating to others. In order to emotionally and socially connect, it may be necessary to expand our understanding of what we can know, beyond that which we know by purely rational means. The ease of philosophers. An existential story. Once Zhuangzi is taken to argue in favor of a kind of knowledge that allows for empathy and bonding with others, the philosophical horizon of the story opens up wider. It is not any longer just about different epistemological points of view, but also about existential questions about how to live and experience. Interpretations focusing exclusively on the epistemological debate between Huitzer and Zhuangzi ignore the storyline that embeds the debate and infuses it with a major Taoist theme: being at ease. English translations of the story tend not to convey a crucial wordplay at the beginning. Both Zhuangzi's and Huitzer's stroll and the movement of the fish are described as yo, or rambling at ease. Yo is a most significant notion, quite specific to the Zhuangzi and the kind of Daoism it represents. The word indicates a carefree and playful movement associated, for instance, with swimming. Unlike a goal-oriented movement from a point A to a point B, yo is a roaming around that does not have a specific aim, yet despite, or precisely due to, its aimlessness, is highly attentive and intensely experiential. Philosophically, it is associated with going along with the transformation of things without worries. The double usage of yo to describe both the friends and the fish creates a mirror effect between the images of the two philosophers looking down onto the river and the fish swimming there. The movements, the moods, and the modes of being of the philosopher friends and the fish reflect one another. Another story in the Zhuangzi touchingly describes the deep friendship between Zhuangzi and Huitzer. When passing by Huitzer's grave, Zhuangzi tells a bystander a story about a master craftsman who could take a piece of dirt off another man's nose with a swing of his axe. All the while, the other man remained perfectly calm and uninjured. When asked by a king to perform the same trick on him, the master carpenter refused, saying he could only perform the feat with that one man, who was now dead, and not with anyone else. Zhuangzi then says that since Huizi passed away, he too lost his partner for sparring with words. The debate about the happiness of fish complements Zhuangzi's lament of Huizi's death well. This debate is an example of an intense and sharp but at the same time enjoyable intellectual encounter free of injury, where both debaters remain perfectly at ease. Its point is not to defeat one another or to win a battle, but to playfully engage in a spirited exchange. Not just an argument about what can be known in which way. The story of the happiness of fish depicts the happiness of human beings, and of philosophers in particular. This happiness lies in a shared experience of yo, consisting not only in strolling at ease on a fine day out by the river, but also, and perhaps more so, in an intellectual rambling around, in an intense joint exploration of ideas among friends. Wit sharpens, insights emerge, and resonance is produced. The joyful movement of the fish in the water mirrors the ease of philosophizing in the mode of yo. Philosophy in the mode of yo is not about reaching a certain end point or definite conclusion, but about the capacity to let thoughts and words create moments of meaning in a friendly debate.